Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations. My name is Naomi Blamire. I am the managing partner for BL Consulting and your host for Conversations. It is truly an honor and a privilege for us to just bring you local stories, right? Local stories that speaks of our Haitian excellence, local stories that help us to share each other's stories and all of the wonderful things that we are doing individually as well as collectively in our community. Today, I have a phenomenal powerhouse entrepreneur with us, Maybeline Despagne. She is going to give you the 411 on how she makes it happen in several businesses while being a mother, while being a wife, and also balancing her own personal life. If you have not already done so, please do us a favor, share the live, and in a few minutes, we're going to bring to the stage our speaker, our guest for today, Maybeline. Again, thank you so very much for joining us. Please share the live. Welcome back, everyone. At this time, we're going to bring to the stage our guest for today, Maybeline. Hey, Maybeline, how are you today?
Hi, Naomi, and thank you for having me on the show. I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. You look wonderful, and we see that you behind you is that amazing studio that we've been seeing on social media. Thank you so very much for accepting our invitation. Listen, for everyone that is tuned in right now who may be hearing about you for the very first time, please share with us who is Maybeline. And I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Despagne?
Despagne, oui.
Très bien, très bien. Maybeline, dis-nous qui est-ce?
Okay, well, first of all, let me say again, thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Maybeline Despagne. I am a wife. I am a mother of 3, and I also have I'm an entrepreneur. I have my shipping company. I've recently opened up the studio. I am a photographer, a jewelry designer, and my companies are Cas Express, which is my shipping company. I have Pick City Studio, which I'm in right now. I recently opened it. And I also have Artistic Crafts, where I sell my crafts, my jewelries, my t-shirts, and everything. That's an online store.
Wow. And so if I were counting correctly, we're talking about a total of 4 different ventures that you are currently leading, correct?
Yes, that's
Wow. And you said that you were a mother of three. Now, I am a mother of one, Maybelline, and I cannot get it together. So you're going to have to let us know, how are you running four different entities and three children, a spouse, and a whole Maybelline? And where, Maybelline Consimonyo Dia is a whole package all by herself. Just really quickly, please share with us, how are you putting all of this together and how are you managing it?
Well, I definitely have to thank my spouse and, of course, my mother-in-law and my mother. They've been a tremendous help, and I also am surrounded by very supportive friends because I couldn't have done this without all of them. My kids, their age range, I have a 2-year-old, I have a 4-year-old, and a 9-year-old. So it's a handful. You know what I mean. So, and with that, I have my husband who's helping me who's helping the people who are really there to help me build this business up. My mom is probably going through the most right now because of COVID. We're not sending anyone to school and everyone is at home. So she has to be there with them. She's in kindergarten, well, pre-K. And we have my daughter who's in fourth grade. So she's doing everything at work while we're trying. My husband and I is managing the shipping company at the moment. And I'm managing the studio and also taking photos of everybody who comes here. It's a team effort. Wait, I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure what happened. I can't hear. Goodness, what happened? I'm trying to fix. Oh gosh.
Okay, guys, we just lost Maybelline. She should be back in a few minutes. If you have not already done so, please take an opportunity to share the live. We are on BL Consulting on YouTube and as well as at BL Councils on Facebook. Okay, just give us a minute while we get her back on. There you are. You're
Sorry. My phone rang and then I lost the sound.
I got it. I got it. So listen, Maybelline, as we all know, we are living in historic times. We have the first Black woman who is of immigrant descent in the White House as a vice president. Tell us, how does that empower you as a woman, as a Black woman, and what are some of the things, points that you're pulling from her ability to reach that position?
I'm already using her as an example in some of my sentences. It's a great time, first to have the Obamas and now to have Kamala. It's actually a very great time. I mean, it's the other day I was talking to my daughter who came to me. I did not know that she was affected that way because of the quarantine. And she came to me, she was really depressed. I didn't think it was affecting her. And she said some stuff to me, and I had to use Kamala Harris to show her, you know what, your life is so valuable right now, and this is how far you can go, and you can actually become whoever you choose to be in life, and you can actually get to a point where you can even be the president of the United States at this time. So, and she asked me about her. We talked about her. I showed her, her face, and she felt empowered, and it helped me. So it's an honor to live this moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think for every single one of us, we are experiencing it differently. It's impacting us differently, and we're having different takeaways based on how we were raised, based on where we are in our life, and especially for women who are entrepreneurs, women who are literally taking the reign and leading your business, leading your life, leading your family down a specific path. we can all find different things that we can take away from Kamala Harris' new position as vice president. Now, Maybelline, I know that you are a businesswoman in photography, in shipping. You are a mother, you are a wife, and so many other things, right? I know for your friends, you're probably a sense of inspiration. For women who want to start their own business, you're definitely a go-to woman to who can inspire and who can share some really great nuggets. But tell us about your personal story, right? We know that you didn't just wake up and pop up this beautiful woman and just charting your own path just like that, right? Like every one of us, you have a story, you have something or people that have impacted your life that got you to this point. So please share your story.
Okay. Well, it all started back when, as far as business, I came here. I was 16 years old. I was born here, raised in Cap Haitian, and then we moved back. I moved back here. I was 16. My mother stayed in Haiti, and I think in 2005, after I was still in college. I was studying business, and then I started working for the shipping company. And then I left to finish my education, and then they called me back. So I spent 4 years at that company, and at some point, the owner who wanted to retire, he called me and offered the company to me. So that's how I've been working in shipping for 4 years. We're shipping mostly to Haiti, and at the time I didn't like it. It was good to have a job, but it's very stressful shipping to Haiti. So when he offered me the company, I really had to think whether I really wanted to go that route. But I have to say, we were when he said he was going to close down, the first thing I did was looking for position. I was looking for jobs. He was helping me look for job. He was referring me to jobs. I was being referred by friends, and I was not getting anywhere. It doesn't matter who refers me, how many interviews I went to, I never get the position. So when he finally offered the company to me, I decided, okay, you know what? Let's give it a try. And that was in 2009. Since so we've been open since 2009. I have to say, shipping to Haiti has its challenges. Sometimes I do feel like giving up, but hey, we're holding on strong, and that's for the shipping part. As the photography, when my daughter was born, I bought a camera just to shoot her because the phone was not doing it. She was moving too fast. I wanted to get good shots of her, and people have asked me to pursue it. I would never do it. I always said no. You know what? This is just a hobby or whatever. And it wasn't until I was pregnant with my third child. I was like around 6 months pregnant when I decided, oh, I'm gonna become a professional photographer with belly sticking out and everything. That's when I started taking my first appointments. I was just inspired. I wanted to give it a try. It was still a hobby. It was still a side business. I was just very happy if I make 100 this month. Oh my God, this business is bringing me an extra 100, an extra 200. And then it started growing to a point where I um, I was getting booked all the time. People really liked what I was doing, and I was building my confidence at the same time I was learning about photography. And to a point that I felt the need to open up my studio because I wanted the space. I wanted the location to be able to create. I love working with settings, and I would carry just about everything that I wanted to create at the time to a park to do my settings. So now that I have the studio, I'm able not only to create my settings, but of course, I'm offering a studio up for rental to other photographers, people who want to do lives. And that's how it became a full blown business. The photography became another business. And as far as artistic craft, which is my company, even though it's not as active, I do not want to ignore it because I love what I do there. It was pretty much a mother looking for a pastime, even though you have a lot of work to do, but sometimes you want to do something for yourself that makes you happy. And for me, that's drawing. So I decided to use my drawing to make money out of them. So I would use them on earrings and shirts, and people really loved them. So that is how I built the other company. So I'm not able to make earrings as much anymore, but because all the drawings are there, people are still able to purchase shirts. They're able to purchase pillowcases and many of the different options that I have on my website right now. So this is pretty much a summary of how I got into all of these businesses. And it's not easy, but I just enjoy everything that I do.
Excellent. Well, the first thing that I want to highlight is the fact that there are two of the businesses that you are CEO of that are male dominated fields. So, would you like to just elaborate a little bit about on that, especially the shipping? Being a young woman and being a beautiful, attractive woman as well, and in that field. Tell us some of your experiences, good or bad, that has really molded and shaped you in the last 4 years.
The shipping, oh yeah, I have stories there. The shipping is I've been told I opened it, I was 26 years old. And from the time that I did, people have been telling me, you know what, it's not the field for you, but you can make it work. Anyways, I knew what my weaknesses were. Yes, I'm not going to go to your house and lift up the boxes, but then I can still be the brain behind it. So I would hire people to do whatever I cannot do, and still be the brain behind it. Now, the one thing that I face challenges in is because not only I ship boxes, but we also give customers containers for them to load. We ship vehicles and everything. And that's the one part where if I go to a yard sometime to kind of talk about my business and get more customers, then at some point, a lot of the conversation would turn into flirting. Like they need a Haitian wife, besoin mon cap, or they want to visit OCAP. It doesn't matter if I have a ring on my finger, if I talk about my husband. So this part, I don't get taken seriously. Okay, well then at some point I decided, okay, if I'm going to go to yards, if I'm going to talk to people, I'll just bring a male friend. So, and it's always, and the other part with shipping is the macho males. Sometimes if things are not going their way, they want to intimidate you because, at first, you're dealing with older people coming at it. They saw me as a young person. I have one of my employees who's at the time when we first started, he was in his 60s, I think. So they always thought that it was his company. And I don't usually come out and say no, but then when he says, okay, I'll palak boss la, so they're like, Limem. So it's always been the case. But at the end, it doesn't matter because I'm dealing with Haitians. So sometimes you don't, some of them are really nice. And some of them, if something doesn't go their way, then they go from 0 to 100. So the goal is to bring them down. And I think being a female and not, trying to be, I just have this way to talk to them, to communicate, so that the customer service can still be kept intact. And in the end, they'll realize, you know what? Konya when they call, oh, ou ba meton fin nan position sa, parce que moi, sak fi yon vle travay. So now things have changed when it comes to my customer. Oh, no pay attention à détail yo mesdames bagay, so it's actually good.
Awesome, awesome. I remember last year I saw a post. Now, I must say that I met you way before I believe you had the studio, correct? And last year, when I first met you, it was just I needed pictures, and you came into the co-working space to take pictures. And, it was just a quick transaction, quote unquote, right? The pictures and then paying the fee and things like that. But I remember, I think it was either last year or the year before, you posted what I would call a loaded post. And it was having to deal with Haiti and a situation that you were having with your shipping company. And you just opened up about the frustration that you were feeling at that point in time and how you were dealing with the circumstance. And at that moment, I literally connected with you, not just as a woman in business, but as a woman who literally is charting her own path and has struggles just like everybody else. And I love the fact that you were vulnerable, right? Because a lot of the times, as women in business, we don't want to show vulnerability. We don't want to show that, you know what, today was a bad day. Or we don't want to really share that the business that you have may not necessarily work out the way you would like it to work out with certain contracts that you have. And I remember that day, and I think I even reached out to you and I just text you and just gave you some words of encouragement, because I was just like, wow, you know, she is literally with the bulldozer, like charting her own path here. And she's just exposing herself and showing us her vulnerability. And I really, for me, that's real power. That's real power. That is the essence of a real woman, when she can let you see her in that space and still communicate that, you know what, I'm going to push through anyway. And this may be a difficult situation right now, but I'm not packing my bags. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to try to hold down this fork, and I'm going to make it happen. Please share a little bit about your experience with Haiti and some of the difficulties that you've experienced throughout those 4 years.
It's funny that you've mentioned that post, because I got some backlash after it, which is one of the reasons why I decide why I'm so quiet on social media. Because from last year up until this point, nothing has changed. If anything, it's gotten worse. And this week has actually been very hard on me, because my secretary got arrested because someone sent ammunition in one of our containers. So, and when you do that, you know, if you call me and you tell me if I ship guns, I don't care whether it's licensed, whether you have, you know, whether it's legal, I will not ship any guns. But we don't have the control to know what's in every boxes. So, and I do the business with a partner, and my partner had one of his customers who sent ammunition, and guess who got arrested? My innocent secretary, who is still in prison right now because of that. And we're trying to get her out. So it's hard. This is not the first time. Well, it's the first time I've ever been in this situation like this, but also I've seen all the stories about, you know, the guns being found in Haiti, and whenever another container gets, a gun shipment is found, then us who has containers at the port, we have to suffer, because they have to go through all this paperwork. And now every container is being unloaded. You have to open each and every single box. You need to have employees there to make sure that everything gets back in the box, so that you don't hear that, you know, they've lost their shipments. So it's been, and that's just one of the challenge at the port. Then of course there's the insecurity. You know, I've had my employees being stopped at gunpoint. I've had the truck being held in hostage for 2 days with cargo inside, when you don't know whether it's going to make it to the people or not. So, and you are, with every shipment that you take, you are promising the people that they'll get it back in Haiti. And so it's a lot of stress. It's a stressful situation, which sometimes, yes, I do feel like giving up. I'm still there. But this week, after what happened, I had a really tough time with it, because she doesn't deserve to be, I think she's in Titania right now, for something that, you know, they know who the shipment is for, but she's in jail. So it's really, Haiti, has never been easy to deal with. It's gotten worse with everything that's going on, but I'm still pushing forward. I chose not to talk about it as much, because I don't want to go back and forth with people who feel like, okay, you shouldn't be saying this, or you know what, this is just showing that you're weak. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Then it is what it is. I'll just not say anything. I just don't want to hear it.
My dear, first and foremost, it is not weakness. Like I stated, I saw that post, and although I've done business with you, the business that I've done with you was basically transactional. When you made that post, that's when I connected with you as a businesswoman. So I think that because of the way many of us were raised as Haitian Americans, we were never thought to really speak our heart, to share who we are. You know, a lot of the times some parents go say, oh non, ou quitter ça la caille, ou obligé de dire tout le monde qui joue en pensée. But in reality, that's not the way we live life, right? When you're going through a difficult time, you need to be able to express that, still hold on to your professionalism and all that you are as a woman, but you can share that this is a difficult time. And of course, I had no idea, just, calling you and connecting with you and saying, I want you to be on the show, because I think that there's a balance to life. There's a balance to doing business. There's a balance to being a businesswoman, a mother, an entrepreneur. Of course, we all have this, boss lady hashtag that we walk around, or an S on our chest that we're superwoman. But the reality of it is nobody is superwoman and nobody is superman, right? We are all dealing with different issues at different time, and we're learning how to manage it. So anyone who comes after you because you share your truth and they want you to hush your mouth, right? In church, I would say the devil is a liar. Why do I have to hush my mouth? This is my reality. What if me sharing my reality would show another woman who's going through maybe a different situation in her business, for her to be encouraged and know that, listen, girl, it's okay. That was a bad day, but we're going to keep on ticking. And so, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think, Maybelline, you should continue to share your truth, because I, for one, as a businesswoman, I connected with you that day. And from that day, I always look to see what you're posting, right? Because no, I'm being so honest. From that day, I always see what you're posting. I saw you had your photo shoot the other day, when you took your time off. See, like, I'm really watching you, because I realized that, now this is a real woman, right? This is not somebody who's just telling you all is beautiful and all is great and, kumbaya, but she's showing you that I'm a businesswoman, I'm successful. There are good days, there are bad days, but with the grace of God, I'm going to continue to push through.
Because many times I was like, you know what, this is not as pretty as everybody thinks it is. Not everything is beautiful. Like, even with the studio, even though I love what I'm doing, there are days when it's just frustrating. But after that backlash, I was like, you know what, I guess, yes, I became quiet. I would post about some photo shoots that happened, but as far as my feelings about what's going on, I don't say it anymore, because people are like, oh, well, don't say this. I'm like, okay, but it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. None of my businesses are perfect. Do I enjoy what I do? Yes, that's why I'm still doing it. My shipping company, it's gonna be, I think, 12 or 13 years old. So, and I'm still pushing despite all the challenges. But it's not perfect. The studio also I have my days with it. So I just choose, and I decided the other day, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I should be sharing more about what I'm going through. So I started small, like I'm showing my, the BTS of how I'm creating sets of, what it takes, because it's a lot of work. With me lifting different things, the video may happen fast, but the tub is still heavy, the bed is still heavy. I'm still feeling those things. So to show people, you know what? Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. It's a process, and you really have to enjoy it to keep going.
Absolutely. Now, I know you shared a little bit about your secretary, and I know you may not be able to share all the details, but if there is, so help us understand the process. If there is a bill of lading, which I think that's what it's called, or there's a document that states where the shipment came from, who it's going to, and they know that you are just providing a service. How do they come to the understanding that your secretary would be responsible for what's in the box?
Because she is the one she's clearing customs on the container. So what happened is, our employees who's clearing customs on the container, whenever something is found, then this is my first time going through it, but I've had a customer who shipped a container with me, and they had put guns in that container, and the person working for that customer is the one who gets arrested. They know about their innocence, but they have to hold someone, and that someone has to bring them to the person it was going to. Unfortunately, excuse me, unfortunately for her, is that after they've held her, IT shut down. Because from last week and this week, Haiti has not been doing so well. So it has been harder for them to go through the whole process of finding, because they know what's going to. They have the address. They even have the receipt of who bought it. So it's not us. It's not our company. They know the customer. But getting to that customer with the country being the way it is right now is not easy. And for that, she's being held because she was at the port that day, and she chose to. She could have ran away. She chose to stay because she's protecting the container. So that, because if everybody saw that and they're like, what, I'm not taking the blame for this. Everybody goes away. I lose the container with all the cargo because for that one shipment.
Wow. Wow. My heart just goes out to this young lady. We will definitely keep her in prayer. And the little bit that I know about you, I know that you are not going to stop until she gets out, and that, she can continue to do the great work that she's doing for your business. Just shifting gears a little bit. We know that you mentioned that you had 3 children. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I have my 9-year-old, I have my 4-year-old, and the 2-year-old. My 9-year-old, she's in 4th grade. She's going to puberty, so it's not, it's good, but there are goods and bad days. And she's the one who was having a tough time with quarantine. Pretty much, I didn't see it like that, and she came up to me. I saw the signs of anxiety and depression and all of that, which is why we've decided, okay, you know what, we're gonna restart her back in school just to see how she would do, and I think she is doing better. It's not something that I so excited about, but at the same time, I also had to think about the stuff that she was saying and how can I get her to feel better about herself and to be around other people. Because she's 9 and the other two are okay because it's 2 and 4, so they're best friend. They're also they fight a lot, they make up a lot, but that's they're sisters, so they have each other to play with. She has a big age gap, between them, so that's the reason we had to start her back in school. The 2-year-old bossy, well, they're both bossy, 2 and 4. So it's always about who's gonna, everybody's trying to get their will out. It's like it's my way, it's not your way. So it's a constant fight, but it's good. Eventually at night everybody gets together and we all have a good time. But for now, it's rewarding. I love it. Um, and what can I say? What else can I say about the 2 and the 4? I know we have to get them started back in school soon too, because she was supposed to be my 4-year-old was supposed to be in VPK, and we chose not to send her to daycare. So now I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna start kindergarten when she didn't get VPK. So it's another question mark with COVID. It's all about, should I send her? Should I get a tutor for her? What can we do? But at least she's in some type of pre-K where she's still getting something. And the 2-year-old, we got to do potty training.
Oh my goodness. Potty train is just the absolute worst, right? So my sister actually created a song, right? I didn't potty train AB. My sister potty trained him. She spent a whole weekend at my house, probably for that last a long weekend, 4 days. And after the 4 days, he was potty trained, and she had a song going, and she made a whole thing out of it. And I was just sitting there on the couch, like watching what's going on, because I was just like, oh my God, please don't do it on the floor. Just don't do it. So I totally feel for you, my dear. And I pray that God gives you the grace for it, because it was definitely a long weekend. It was a long weekend. Maybelline, you have such a great spirit, a beautiful smile, just a great disposition about life. If there's a woman watching now who wants to start her own business and who has a concept, who has an idea, right? And who's a bit fearful about moving forward. What can you share with her?
The first thing I would say is go for it. Like, and people have come to me about that. I would say go for it. I mean, for 8 years, they've been telling me, why don't you pursue photography professionally? And I was like, no, I'm not good enough. That was my biggest thing. I was like, okay, I've seen photographers when they're shooting, they have all of these gadgets that they bring with them. And I just don't think I can get the hold of it. And I was like, there are already so many great photographers out there. Why would I even go into that field? So I found excuses. I found many excuses about not being good enough. And even with the shipping, if it wasn't because I was like up against a wall, no one would accept my application. No one would hire me at the time because God knows what he was doing. I would have just, I would have chosen to have that income where I know it's coming, and I wouldn't have to make it and be like, okay, am I gonna make this month or not? Am I gonna have enough to pay the bills? I would have chosen to work for someone because I know that's guaranteed money, at least for the time when I have the job. So I have to say, throughout my life, I see that God has been shaping things, because even last year after that post, you've reached out to me. And I think around that time when you reached out to me, I told you it wasn't my only stress. I was stressed about COVID coming in the US. That was one of my answers. And it happened, and when COVID happened, and I took another hit because then we had to shut down. So, and it was around that time I'm like, okay, financially, Haiti took a lot of customers away because they were just leaving. They were not shipping anymore. And then COVID happened. I had to shut down. And then boom, photography landed. Somehow I started getting booked. And I was like, at the very, when we were like, okay, what are we gonna do? The stimulus money just happened. Just we spent that in like a day or something. Whatever they were giving me for my business was not working at this point. It was so then when I finally found photography as another source of income, it was just God sent, like, oh my God. Um, but it was a good thing that I did decide to go for it at least 8 years after. So now to get to a point where I was like, okay, let's just see how it's going. Can that income support a rent for a studio? To get it to a point where, okay, you know what? I can see me paving my way to get that studio, and how I can even make it, double that money up, because I was just shooting outdoor. Now I can shoot at any time of the day. I know I have no limit on the time that I can shoot. I can rent the studio out if I'm not shooting. And so it was just because I decided to make the move. So your ideas, they're valuable, and is taking it one day at a time. Don't push, don't run towards it. Like, even myself, sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm not exactly where I want to be when it comes to photography. Like, people may love my work, but I feel like, okay, there are areas where I can improve on, but I'm still taking it one day at a time. It's like, okay, I'll get to work on that. Eventually I'll get a Photoshop course, and I'll keep moving towards where I want to be. And will I ever feel like I'm exactly where I want to be? Probably not, because technology is improving and a lot of things is happening. So I'm probably always going to push towards improving myself and become a better version.
I love it. I love it. As I stated before, your simplicity and just your openness and humility about what you do and how you're going about doing it, for me, was priceless. Was priceless. And even having this conversation with you, it continues to put that stamp, like, yes, this is an amazing woman, and she's a world class woman, and she has God has given her opportunities that has landed a global business, and she's charting this path by herself, and she's doing the best that she can and doing it with grace, right? Because I'm sure, especially during COVID, with a lot of us as women, when our original business concept was not working, some of us just, went under the covers and was just like, okay, I'm signing out, right? And whether they signed out for a week, 2 weeks, a month, or I hope not. That I hope that they're not still signed out. But for many of us, we kind of like checked out. And so for several of us, like yourself, like myself, we were like, okay, no, there's no checking out. On continue your dia, bakat lang ko, figure it out, and then let's start this game over. And I remember having that conversation with you, and you said to me, you know what, Naomi, is not so much what's going on right now in Haiti. I'm concerned that COVID may hit the United States. And now that I'm thinking about it, listen, girl, please do not shut your mouth. Speak up, because you had already, I mean, spiritually speaking, I would call it prophetic, right? You had prophetically seen what was coming, and you were already feeling the anxiety of it, and could have actually helped prepare us, right? For those that were in Florida and who were not necessarily doing business globally and didn't know that it hit until, the government decided to tell us. But, for some people, they saw it coming. And so again, this is just another reason why you should not be quiet. And I thank God that I did have that conversation with you, because it's vivid in my mind that you were conscious of that. And I believe that you being conscious of it so early help you pivot, help you, put the studio and do it really quickly, because in your mind you already saw what it did to the business, the shipping business. And so you're like, you know what, once it hits the US, that's it. So you already started moving with the pace, where some of us was kind of, what's going on? Did you hear the news? What did they say? Right? Because for a lot of us, we're just waiting for someone to tell us what's going on, versus us being in a position to have access to information and to make the right decision with the information that's coming. So I want to shift gears a little bit and to talk about your love life. You're married. How long you've been married? How do you guys balance it out? Do you guys have date night? What do you guys do?
How long have I been married? 2008. I don't have the years. I met him 2003. We got married in 2008. So it's been this long. I don't have the number yet, but I'll calculate it soon enough. But so far, there's not really much going on. We even though I have the studio open and I am kind of exposed, I keep my mask on whenever someone is coming, but I'm still not comfortable just going out and about. So it's pretty much us doing different things, like movie night at home with the kids, or sometimes by ourselves. Like today, he was making sure he cooked for me before I came here, so it's all good. um, but it's pretty much, I guess it's the little details. And every now and then, we manage, if we do go out every now and then to a restaurant or whatever, but it's not really like back then, before COVID. There was, a lot of movies. We went to movies, some bars, and whatever we can to keep the romance going. And so, but lately it's different. So we're doing everything at home. We were supposed to travel to go to friends, but I don't think that's happening either. So we're probably gonna end up going to, what was it? New Orleans. That's where he wanted to go. So.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. And so it's 12 years. I did the math for you. So please share with us how if you had to give some advice. You definitely have gone through an entire decade married, that is, and you guys were together 3 years before that. So please, if you could share some nuggets, some wisdom, some pearls of wisdom. How does one remain married for 12 years?
I'll say what everybody says. It's not easy. But I think we've grown. We're growing together. The one good thing is communication. I talk about whatever I don't feel like it's right, whatever I don't like, and it's the same way. And I think the good thing with us is we have, we can see our mistakes. I don't always have to be right. I stopped that a long time ago. He will tell you. So if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm sorry, and I'll try to improve on that. And because I think I've learned that from him, because if he is wrong, then I could see him improving in that department, or at least making the effort, even if we have to have the talk again 6 months after, to remind him like, okay, hey, you know, we talked about this before, and you kind of going off rail. But it's all about, okay, so pretty much is communication. Like if there's something that didn't please him, and I do feel like I'm wrong, I will definitely try to improve on that. And the same goes for him. It doesn't mean that we don't agree. We still have stuff that we totally do not agree on, but it's enough for us to be living our lives and not feeling bothered by it. It's just the major stuff it's a work in progress for all of us. So, and I think that's the balance that we've created that keeps us going.
I love it. And balance is my word, right? So it's definitely about creating that balance and really, I think as a woman, accepting the fact that we are not always right and being humble enough to say sorry when we recognize that we are wrong. So thank you so very much for sharing that. We're going to go to the audience. If you guys would like to share or even ask, Maybelline a question pertaining to entrepreneurship, about how she got it started. Please share that question. In the meantime, as we go, I'm gonna jump over to YouTube to see if there's anything there. Nothing. No one has a question. And Maybelline, I know that we talk a lot as humans about purpose, right? And so for so many of us, purpose means so many different things. Please share with us, what does purpose mean for you, and do you believe that you found it?
Purpose means to be happy, you know, and looking at my life and where I am right now, if it means that to be happy and to do what you love, then I have definitely found my purpose. Um, Not only like the shipping, what I love about the shipping is not so much, it's being able to help customers. I have a lot of people who are shipping with me. They are missionaries. They're helping Haiti. I have also people sending goods to their families. So, and it's about creating that bridge where you can pretty much ship your items and have them clear customs and not worry about everything that's going on in Haiti, because we all know that sometimes if you have to deal with customs directly, people will try to make money off of you. So to me, it's always been meaningful. And I have customers who come back and told me, you know what, thank you for getting our shipment to this person, and thank you for doing what you do. And it's the same thing in photography also. Not only that I love what I'm doing, but when you have women who comes to you and like, oh, thank you, I'm able to see myself again, which sometimes we think it's a simple word. Like for me, like my post the other day, it was like I went through the whole month of after the quarantine. At some point I was like, you know what, I'm so ugly. That's how I felt. I was like, I'm not attractive anymore or whatever. So I did that post and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm able to see the old Maybelline. It's still there. So that that's helping. That's, to me, that's purposeful, and I love it. I love the fact that I'm able to help people. It's not just taking photos, but they are able to enjoy it, enjoy the process, and then loving the final product. And it's the same at home, where I'm helping bring my girls into this world, and my experience is shaping me into who I am, and I'm just hoping that I to keep setting a good example for them so that they can see, because my mom made that path for me. My mom, she's was the mayor of Okap at one point, Lycée Patricia. She is also she's a baker. She had she's a teacher. She was a professor at a school. And what else? She had her business, which was a bazaar, like Spantasi Bazaar, and she had like it. That's just some of the. Oh yeah, she also the seamstress. So, so she had all of these going on for her, and I've watched her filling in all of these shoes. and wanting to be like her. Now, I don't know how to, you know, do that. But I've created a different path where I have several shoes that I'm filling in, and I'm hoping that my daughters are catching on and seeing, okay, you know what? We don't have to stick to that one. We can be several things at once. So, and to me, I feel like I've reached, I found my purpose.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for sharing that. Of course, I'm looking forward to meeting your mom. My God, right? We think about being phenomenal women within our generation, and to think of a woman in the prior generation who can, be a mayor of a city like Okap, and to be a businesswoman, and to really find ways for her to bring value to her own country. I think that's phenomenal, and I think that sometimes we shortchange ourselves, right? And you stated it that earlier. You don't have to do just one thing. You can do several different things, and you can do them well, right? It's really about identifying what is good for you. So thank you so very much for sharing that. We didn't get any questions for you. Again, we just want to thank you, Maybelline, for being a guest on our show. Thank you for sharing your business, your story, talking about your daughters and how you balance everything. We just would love to know if somebody wants to contact you for shipping, photography, and for the studio, or even maybe to purchase some of your jewelry. Let's go down the line and just give us your handles or contact information, starting with the shipping company.
Is Cas Express, CASXPRESS. So we have a page on Facebook, and we also have another page on Instagram. The number for the shipping company is easy. It's 305-777-2020. So it's 305-777-2020. And that's the best way to reach us. Because of all the different companies, I don't have to go into emailing. So as far as the photography, the studio is Pixcity, Pixcity Studio. And we also have a page on Instagram. We have the website, which is pixcity.studio, where you can go online. You'll have the information to book, to find our prices. And within that same page, you will find information about me as a photographer, which is Maybelline Photography. That's another page I have on Instagram. I kept them separate because I want to be able to I want photographers renting the studio to just deal with that, because they don't need to necessarily have their clients look at my work or find out about my work. And as far as Maybelline Photography, it would be promoting my work, which Maybelline Photography is Maybeline Photography. The phone number for that, for those two, the studio and the photography, we have it's the same number. It's 954-501-0107, and it's 954-501-0107.
Excellent. I was actually just typing it in as we go. So we have 954-501-0107, and that's for studio and photography. So we're going to drop that in the chat. So if you ever need to contact Maybelline, you know how to do so. And Maybelline, can you share any final words?
Okay, I would like to thank you for having me on the show. It's not something that I love to do. I'm very shy, but I do it every now and then. Trying to come out of the box. No, not the box, but trying to put myself more out there so people can see me and associate my face with my businesses. And going back to what we were talking about, I would tell everybody to just, if you have a dream, if you have anything that you want to pursue, give it a try and give it a go, because in the end, you never know where it can bring you.
Excellent, excellent. Again, thank you so very much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure to have you. I learned a little bit more about you, and I celebrate you. I think that the more women that we have in our community that can stand on their own 2 feet, and be vulnerable and share their experiences, I think we will be a healthier, right, and a stronger community, because no one is without fault, no one is perfect, and everything that we look to do has some measure of difficulty that we have to overcome. And it is in overcoming those difficulties that we really come to terms with who we are, not just as women, but as men, and as individuals who are charting our individual path. So thank you so very much for tuning in. Again, guys, my name is Naomi Blamire. I am the managing partner for BL Consulting. We are an accounting and consulting firm located in the city of North Miami, inside Balancing Life Workspace. You can find us on Facebook at BL Counsel. You can find us on Instagram at BL Tax Service, as well as Pearls of Wisdom. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, have a balanced day. Bye-bye.